Tell us about why Palantir is just outperforming, is peerless in your perspective.
So first, thank you so much for having me here. I'm happy to share this with you too. And I think Palantir has proven that has been the winner of this AI implementation.
Yeah.
And I mean, not only about like investment, but actually the growth they are unlocking. The customers actually going to them because they can prove that they can actually extract value from these AI implementations. And it doesn't only stop with those customers, but also other software peers that are partnering with Palantir because they also want to be part of this. They have like really good software, but they are still struggling to actually make that software work. And Palantir is like, from a fundamentals perspective, actually proving that they can extract value from those implementations.
Your note is such a joy to read because you're using wonderful analogies going back to the Matrix, whether you're going to blue pill or whether you're going to red pill. But what's interesting is you're thinking that ultimately the red pill is there with Palantir, and they are unlike the 95% of failed pilots that MIT drew a focus on. They're managing to make AI work. But why? What is it different about Dr. Karp, Daddy Karp, however you see him, and indeed the go-to market focus that they have?
I think what is different first is that they have been working on this infrastructure that is actually what makes AI be operational for more than 20 years. This is something that today has more value than anything because of like the acceleration on AI and the new software that we have. But like this ontology that they have, that is like the data integration that can actually unlock value from all these different like data pods and like have the human to be able to interoperate with that has been in the works for more than 20 years. And that's why they are a real winner. And from a customer perspective, you have to take into account that they work with the US government, and they have worked with the US government for so long. So they know how to do complex operations, and they are translating all that know-how into the commercial world. That is why I think they're a winner. They were prepared for this.
Mariana, a part of the pressure on the stock this morning, and we need to acknowledge it, is that Michael Berry of the Big Short fame, or Cyan Asset Management, his firm, have disclosed some bearish wagers, including on Palantir. Put options is the form that they've taken. But there's clearly some bigger picture worry about valuation. And are we or are we not in an AI bubble? The way that you put it in your note is to discern what is real and what is not real. What is it you see in Palantir that gives you the conviction it is real?
What makes me convinced about being real is when you hear about the customers and the transformation they are seeing from implementing Palantir's product, they are like actually saving money. They are doing things faster, cheaper, better, smarter. Those real changes are the ones that make me optimistic about it. And we have said this over time. I'm really convinced that even if the AI bubble were to burst, Palantir will survive because it's the structure to actually extract that value and do more with AI, AI agents, or whatever is next from stochastic models or anything in software and computing and everything. And
you write that seeing is believing, Mariana. I've attended quite a few AIP cons, and what happens is you have these customers go on stage and demo how they actually use Palantir. Like, there are so many people out there that are like, what does Palantir even do? You know, I've seen the demo and you get a sense for how it works. So then that takes me to the commercial growth, 121% growth year on year in the US. The nervousness out there is that it's only the US. That commercial business isn't growing internationally.
I think when you think about international, you have to take into account two things. Number one, there are larger customers there that like were already hardly like a lot penetrated, and that Palantir is putting their focus in the US. So it's also, demand is like amazing for AI in general. And we see that with all the CapEx being invested. But if you have to actually catch up with that demand and execute on that, you have to take into account where you put your efforts and your resources. And I think it's aligned with that. The Palantir is putting most of their commercial resources focused in the US.